Never fear, Cinders is here, and today I've got for you a Dragon Ball Theory discussion video. This is more discussion, and it's going to be on the transformations of the Saiyans. We're going to look at all of them and just kind of see how they all come about, and just kind of try and get a grasp at all of every single form of transformation that the Saiyans have undergone. Particularly since Goku's gone through the most transformations, my graphic is a chart I created with Goku going through all the transformations. Now, I understand the chart itself is a little on the simplistic side. I'll go through and explain some of the more complicated matters as we go along. So let's get started. We start, of course, with base Goku, the top middle, the black hair. And early on, Saiyan Saga, Dragon Ball, the transformation for Saiyans with their tails. When you have a full moon, you get enough, as we learn later, Blitz waves, that the Saiyan transforms into an ape. So off to the left, stemming straight off from base Goku, we have the Uzaru, the giant ape, the great ape, that the Saiyan transforms into. But after the Saiyan Saga, everyone's tails get removed. Goku had his removed when he was young. Now that he understands he was the one becoming the giant ape when he was a kid, he has Gohan's removed. Vegeta's, when it gets destroyed, this time doesn't grow back. Or if it does, it gets removed as well. Same with Tails, Trunks, or Goten may have. They got removed, so that they would not become these giant Uzurus, cause panic, destroy the world, anything like that. Then we get to the epic Frieza fight. Goku versus Frieza. And we finally see a Saiyan achieve Super Saiyan. Straight down the middle, on the bottom, Goku goes Super Saiyan. The golden hair, the green eyes. A very impressive transformation in the anime, the way it was done. And then we get to the Android Saga. And very quickly, Super Saiyan seems to not be the strongest thing in the universe like it was supposed to be. And so in order to defeat the androids, Goku and Vegeta try to find a way to improve on Super Saiyan. And so we get a few grades to Super Saiyan. We get Super Vegito. He's a bit more buff. He's kind of maxed out his potential without losing speed. And we call that grade 2 Super Saiyan. And then Trunks goes what we call grade 3. And that's pushing the muscles even beyond so that he gains even more strength. But it's a flawed form because it sacrifices speed for strength. And so while he ends up being maybe stronger than Cell at that point, he's not fast enough to keep up with him, and so he can't beat him. And then we see Goku and Gohan come out, and they don't really look any different than they did going in. They're not using these buff states. They're not using anything like that. They're not using grade 2 or 3. They're fully developed and mature their Super Saiyan powers to where they can stay in it all day long without any problem. They've mastered the Super Saiyan form. And all these fall under what I have in the chart, just your basic simple Super Saiyan 1. Now Goku realizes there's still a level to be achieved higher than his mastery over Super Saiyan. But he couldn't quite figure out how to reach it. but he's confident Gohan can. And during the fight with Cell, Gohan does. He breaks Super Saiyan and finds the next level, and he goes Super Saiyan 2, off to the right of Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan 2. Now, some people may want to argue Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3 are not really transformations, they're just more advanced versions of Super Saiyan. There are conditions that have to be met, and when they're met, this new form gives a significant upgrade to the last form, or even to the base form, compared to what the other form does. And so, I don't think it's just a powered up version, it is an actual transformation. So he goes from 1 to 2 and beats Cell. And then during the 7 years training, after Cell's defeated, both Goku and Vegeta also learn to master Super Saiyan 2. And we get to the Buu Saga. And we find Goku's got a trick up his sleeve. He didn't really want to reveal it because he knew it would use up all his time on Earth, and because it would be even harder to sustain it on Earth than it would be in Otherworld. But he decides he's going to use it to buy time for Trunks and Goten to get Dragon Radar so they can get the Dragon Balls, and then he teaches them fusion, which we're not going into fusion. That's a technique, it's not a transformation. But we find out Goku can dig down even deeper and pull out Super Saiyan 3. Long hair with the loss of his eyebrows. And he's got Super Saiyan 3. We don't understand, we never really learned much about what triggered Super Saiyan 3 for him. Whatever conditions Goku met, Vegeta was never able to meet them on Earth, or he chose not to meet them, one or the other. And that's why Vegeta doesn't get Super Saiyan 3. He never meets the conditions to unlock that transformation. Like, especially Grade 3, Super Saiyan 3 is, in a way, a very flawed transformation itself, in that it burns up energy so quickly that, of course, it would have eaten up all Goku's time, but it puts such a strain on the body when he's alive that it doesn't last any longer than, say, the fusion technique does under normal circumstances. And, of course, Trunks and Goten forming Gotenks using Super Saiyan 3 eats up their fusion time because it's such a burner that it cuts their fusion time in half, or in thirds, or whatever it was. They only get 10 or 15 minutes in the fusion state if they go Super Saiyan 3. It is significantly stronger, but you can only use it for a very limited amount of time. Same is true in a way with the fusion dance. You only get a half hour to use it, but it puts you at a significantly higher level. So that's your basic transformations from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Then we get GT, and you don't really get a new transformation for the first part of the show, and then they realize they've got a threat Goku, even in his Super Saiyan 3 form, as a kid, cannot handle. So the old Kai comes up with a plan to give Goku his tail back. And given his Super Saiyan status plus his tail, he's able to transform into a golden Zuru. And then he and Vegeta, overtaken by Baby, both are able to go golden Zuru. Now, of course, since Vegeta didn't have his tail, Baby needed Bulma to make a machine, a satellite kind of, to focus the Blitz rays to force the transformation for him. But they're both able to reach Golden Uzaro. And then Goku, with some help from Pan to meet these conditions, gains control of the form and condenses it, pushes even beyond it to what becomes known as Super Saiyan 4. Now, you'll notice I've branched them very differently. Super Saiyan 4 is not really a continuation of the 2 and 3 line. It is its own line where Super Saiyan with the tail can achieve it. Now again, somehow Vegeta miraculously is able to use the machine to become Super Saiyan 4, like Baby was the Golden Zaru, and then loses his tail again once it's run out. I'm not going to try and go into any of that. But Goku, having his tail back, being a Super Saiyan, is able to unlock this even stronger form than anything we'd ever seen before in Super Saiyan 4. He's got way more power than even Super Saiyan 3 this way. Way more power. And that's the big transformation we get for GT. Of course, you get the fusion dance for Gogeta. Again, we're not really focusing on that. Then we get the new movies, The Battle of Gods, Resurrection of Frieza, and we get to see some even new forms. Now we're almost completely cutting out the Super Saiyan transformations. Almost. Now, in order to achieve Super Saiyan God, which is the red form that looks almost like his base, is achieved through a ritual with 6 pure Saiyans feeding their energy into another. And it gives him this new transformation, Super Saiyan God. But it's not something he can turn off and on. Once it runs out, it runs out. If he were to need to do it again, he would have to go through the ritual again to become Super Saiyan God. Now, he's not happy with that. Vegeta's definitely not happy with the idea of having to use a ritual, its borrowed power, which conflicts with their Saiyan pride. So they don't like this form. They want to find another way to reach God. Now, it's debatable whether or not Goku kept some God Ki after the Battle of Gods movie ended. It seems like he's retained some of it, and that's why he's stronger once the Super Saiyan God form runs out, and he's still able to somewhat compete with Beerus to a level. Whether or not he's retained it, he goes back to a new, higher, stronger base level. Now, I didn't create a second base form, Goku, but there is a new term, Saiyan Beyond God, which can be now applied to the base form of Goku and Vegeta now, after the events of Resurrection of F. Well, somewhere during the middle there, we're able to attribute Vegeta to Saiyan Beyond God. But that's basically just their base form being able to access their regular ki they had before, and now also this new God ki. And then there is the final form we've seen so far. The form Goku faces Golden Frieza with, that Vegeta faces Golden Frieza with, that when they're going into this Universe 6 tournament with, that we know of. Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Also being coined Super Saiyan Blue. Now, I've drawn it so that it's coming out of his base form because, in all intents and purposes, when he transforms into it, he's basically going straight from his base into Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. But it could be argued, especially the way Super displayed the transformation, that it is coming from his Super Saiyan form. So you could argue that in the Super version, when we see Goku transform against Frieza, he kind of gets his gold aura, and then outside of that comes his blue aura and his blue hair. And really it is tapping into both his God Ki and his Super Saiyan form at the same time. And that's Super Saiyan, God Super Saiyan. So that's a complicated transformation, but both he and Vegeta achieve it. Of course, you can go read everyone else's theories. My own theory on how Vegeta gets God Ki, since he didn't undergo the ritual, to be the focus of it, to gain God Ki. Now they both are able to infuse their Super Saiyan form with God Ki and create Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, the final form we know of to this point. One not real transformation, going to the Lord Slug movie, we have false Super Saiyan. Don't really know what you want to call that. It's not a true transformation. It's kind of like his Kaioken went crazy on him. It does have a reddish look, but it's not Super Saiyan God either. But it's a boost in his power, but it's not a true transformation. So that's why it didn't actually make it in the picture or anything beyond a quick mention here after the fact. But that's basically the explanation for how you get to each of these transformations. Transformations that didn't require a tail, transformations that did require the tail, this and that and the other. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please feel free to share it. Hopefully this has helped make some sense out of each of these transformations, how they developed, how they're different. If you do have any questions still, feel free to ask them in the comments. Please check out my other content, and I will see you again in the near future with more videos. Thank you for watching. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super are property of Funimation, Viz TV, Fuji TV, Toei Animation, and Dragon Ball Z Abridged is the property of Team 4-Star. Of course, all of it, the initial creator for them was Akira Toriyama. Please check out their content.